Welcome to Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater. Issues and Answers is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. And now, Issues and Answers with your host, Diane Kinderwater.
Welcome to the program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. We all know that Election Day is November 4th, but there's also early voting and all sorts of ways that you can make your voice heard. Of course, here at KCHF TV, we have invited candidates for mayor, and those who've accepted, we are introducing them to you. And for District 3 City Council, we've invited candidates because that's one of the most contested, and those who have accepted are our guests, and I have one of them to introduce you to today, Christopher Sedillo. He is running for District 3. We're going to talk about what his priorities are for the city of Albuquerque and for his district, and of course, where that District 3 is, but also tell you a little bit about him. And there's a lot to know about Christopher Sedillo. We'll be back with Mr. Sedillo right after this. Stay with us. My guest today is Christopher Rudolph Sedillo. He is running for City Council District 3. And there's a lot to know about him before we even get into some of the issues. He's had a 26-year career with the U.S. Navy. He became a paratrooper with over 60 jumps, including one in Panama. He searched for the recovery of POW and MIA remains in Vietnam. And he also has many ribbons and awards and commendations for his naval career, but also helped to find, search, and rescue the recovery of Alaskan Airline Flight 261 after crashing, and so much more. In addition to that, he's been a truck driver and a caregiver for many members of his family. So we're going to introduce you to Christopher Sedillo. Thank you so much for your service to our country. What a remarkable naval career you've had. And again, a lifelong New Mexican, Albuquerquean, who now wants to serve our community in the City Council. And I'll say, why? Why, Chris?
Well, thank you, Diana, for having me here. I appreciate giving me this opportunity to speak. I want to serve my community to improve the issues that are going on. I think right now we don't have a voice in City Council. I've heard so many issues of we call City Council or City Councilor, we call the mayor's office, and they don't get return calls, no emails, no reply back. And the west side kind of has a lot of needs, from a lot of weeds, trash, and just unkept roads. Roads are very bad in the west side. And to me, to make a difference is you need to be in the system to make a change. And I'm the choice for change for the west side.
Where is District 3 located?
District 3 is located pretty much south of Central, everything west of the Rio Grande, that's City Incorporated, of course, and all the way up to Dennis Chavez. Once you pass Coors, it becomes Rio Bravo. And then there's a little section called Valley Gardens. It's off of Gun Club Road, and that's City Incorporated. So that is my area.
That's your area. Before we get into more of those issues, let's talk about, in addition to serving the U.S. Navy for 26 years, you've served our community at your post, American Legion Post 13, that you've been doing there. Tell me a little bit about what you've been volunteering and doing.
Okay, well, I joined the American Legion Post 13 in around 2017, and shortly thereafter, I got nominated to be the chaplain for several years. Then
the chaplain for
the Post 13. And then a year or two later, the Honor Guard commander quit after the COVID thing. And somehow I got nominated to become the Honor Guard commander for Post 13, which had started with about 5 or 6 members. So when I took over, I used my knowledge of military honors and stuff and brought it from 6, 7 members to over 30 members, and including where we were doing 2 or 3 military honors a month, we're averaging now between 10 and 15 military honors. We also do the rifle volley, a 7-gun salute for the Veterans Day and for Memorial Day at the New Mexico Veterans Memorial. We do present the flags for many different events for the city. We've also done the marching the parade for the Pride Parade and several other parades that they've had. We're in the parade presenting the colors.
Wow, American Legion Post 13, where is that located?
It's located off of Lomas. They're just past the I-25 freeway, east on it.
Okay.
And before you get to the old Gallus Chevrolet, it's there. And
wow, that's active. And so when you're doing 30 of these memorials, what does that entail? Going to Santa Fe, to the cemetery? Tell me a little bit what you do.
We kind of go to wherever we're asked. So we've gone as far as T or C, and we've done a lot at the pueblos there, from Sandia to the one down here west. I can't remember.
Isleta?
Isleta, but anyways, we've done those. We go to Santa Fe quite a few. We do all the ones local here.
And when you say do, what do you do,
well,
Chris?
Most of the time we do just the rifle volley and tap sometimes. The branches service of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, they usually have the people that will do the folding and presenting.
Of the flag?
The flag.
Okay, so you don't necessarily do that. They have their own branch.
Not all the time, but we have done it as well. Sometimes the family have requested us to do the whole thing. So we will do, and I normally will present the flag since I'm the senior member in the team.
What an honor to be able to do that. And you've grown your crew from 7 or 8 to over 30.
Correct, and we go everywhere. We can do 2 or 3 at one time now. We've competed at the New Mexico Veterans Memorial. They have 2 honor guard competition. One is in Las Cruces in the spring, and then one in the fall here at the New Mexico Veterans Memorial. This year we took 2nd place on the small group and 2nd place in the large group. And like I said, we get trained by the Army National Guard, and we are certified through the state, and we do get a stipend for so we can get our uniforms and gas reimbursement and things. So
well,
it is an honor to do that.
It's quite an honor to do that. And so you still have time, though, to become a member of the city council. I'm looking at, you can go online and find your site. There's an awful lot about you.
Well, I have, in April we had our elections. I stepped down. I am doing the treasurer, so we have another person because it's a full-time job. It's like 20 hours a week. The person gets a call from the funeral home, has to get all the details, the information. Then he needs to put that information out to the team to see who's available and who can do it. And then there's the paperwork that goes with every one of these. And so it's kind of like a full-time job, 20 hours a week.
In addition to that, you're honored to be appointed to the Governor's Veterans Advisory Council.
Yes, now it's going on 3 years ago. She started the Governor Veterans Advisory Council. We meet quarterly. We go to different parts of the state, all over from Las Cruces, Alamogordo, to Santa Fe, Taos, and we meet with veterans there. We have open mic to listen to their issues and to how can we improve. One of the major things is transportation, especially for the rural areas, because some of these veterans can't drive all the way down to the VA hospital. Sure. So that's been one of the things we've been working on. And you will see ads on TV that say, hey, call 3 days ahead of time. We will provide you transportation. Wow. Also, a big thing is suicide awareness. There's a 988 number now to call because unfortunately veterans have a higher rate of suicide than the general population. We have a really high, so that's one thing that we hope to one suicide is one too many.
You've had a very rich career and rich volunteering positions, and still you still have time to be a member of the city council. What are the pressing things that you're seeing that you want to change, Chris Sedillo?
One of the things that bothers me is the homeless population. I think there's ways to work with it to take care of the homeless population. I've studied a little bit of Miami-Dade County, and they have taken their homeless population down to almost zero. They have ordinance where you can't be in any public places, but they have places for them to go now. I mean, and they have to choose and they have rehab and conditions. So if they have a drug problem, alcohol problem, or just mental illness, which is I think our number one issue here, because most of the people that you see on the street have mental illness and they have places to go to. And I think if we build our infrastructure and have nonprofit, but again, not only nonprofit, but they have to show a return on investment. How much are they helping? How much are we spending? And that's all about accountability. To me, I think we don't have accountability.
We have a lot of nonprofits. We interview a lot of them on this program.
Right.
Seems like a lot of people are out there, but
how many,
how effective they are, we still have
correct.
homeless.
How many are they actually helping? And and to me, it's all return on investment, ROI, and I don't think we're getting our money's worth for what we're spending.
On the west side, are you seeing the homeless in those in your communities?
Not so much there. It's mostly downtown, Central, Corner, all the way up to Unser. You'll see it, but it's mostly downtown and this main area here, going to downtown.
Do you figure a large percentage are veterans?
There's some, I don't think that's a large percentage, because we have the VIC now, the Veterans Integration Center, which is a beautiful place off of Gibson there, just west of, just east of the freeway, which is a lovely, they got a place where they can go now and they can stay there till they get on their feet. They have services to help them get on their feet, which is awesome. If you've never been there, I'll recommend you to go there to see it.
It's on Gibson East.
Yeah, it's Gibson East. As soon as you start going up, I forget the name of the road, but it's like as soon as you get on Gibson, you go right, and you can see the freeway from that location. It's a beautiful place, really nice.
And so they're helping the veterans.
Yes.
And you've gone there and visited that.
Oh, yes.
So in addition to homelessness, what are people in District 3 telling you are the issues?
Well, one of the issues that I heard, there's several issues, but one of the main ones is the weeds, the trash, and the roads. I mean, some of the roads there on the old Westgate neighborhood are just atrocious. They've called and asked for, hey, when can they fix this or do something? And it basically gets ignored. I know that every person that's responsible for their sidewalk in front, the weeds in the back of their, and you can see the weeds are probably higher than that plant right there behind you there. There's no enforcement or accountability, I think. My back gate faces 114th Street, where the animal shelter, the fire academy, and the disposable dump. But you go down 114, you'll see trash all down there because they don't want to pay the $5. I don't know the issue, or they want to get rid of tires. It's a daily thing. Another one of the issues I've heard is shots fired there. People, and back there, the West Mesa there, it's land, and it's, you could call it in over and over. And speeding is another one issue. One person wants to see a roundabout on Sage Street because he says his backyard faces Sage or something, and he says they fly through there. But yeah, there's a lot of concerns. Another major issue is there's no businesses or things for people to work there. Every time, when they have to go to work, they have to cross the river, and it's a congestion every morning trying to get to the east side to go to work, and the same in the afternoon trying to go back to home. You're having if there's an accident on I-40, God forbid, you're going to take an hour to get across the river, going down Central.
Is that the road they usually take to get to your community, I-40, or is it? Well,
you got Central, and then you got Bridge. And again, those, you got lights. It's slow to get to either way. But, where I live, there's no business. I mean, there's car washes, but there's not a lot of businesses to employ people there, to keep people working in the community where they live, and another one would be, of course, housing. We have a housing deficit. We need to increase housing drastically and that's one of the things I think that controls the price of rent and stuff. If we have an abundance of housing, the price of rent and stuff will either go down because they don't rent it, and the other issue I heard is getting permits and stuff to get stuff built. A lot of people, when the city's taking 3 months, 4 months, you don't know how long it's going to take to get a permit. They need to automate the system so whoever's going to build or contractor, they know this is how long it's going to take to get a permit, turn around, and make it automated. This will help make sure that they can plan, because you can't plan if you don't know how long it's going to take. And
what do you think, with your background, and what do you tell potential voters about yourself, how your qualifications can help improve the city of Albuquerque?
Well, one of the things I've told all the voters is, one is, if you call me, text me, email me, I will return your call. I will look into whatever the concern or issue you have. I may not have the answer, but if you have suggestions, I will work with everyone. This will be my full-time job because I don't do any other job. This would be my most, and to me, I think there is talking to the people and getting their input. You will see in my signs, my phone number is on every one of my signs.
Really?
I have a meeting anytime anyone wants to meet every Friday from now till election day from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. at the McDonald's off of 98th Street going right into the freeway. I'm available to meet if they want to meet me, talk to me.
Are people coming?
I had a few, not too many yet, but again, I'm making that time available for them, and because I can't knock on 30,000 doors, and I won't be able to meet everyone, but I'm making it available so anyone who wants to come meet, talk to me, give me what their concerns. I have a little notepad to write down what issues are important to them.
What were those concerns when the people came to visit you?
The main ones was basically the traffic, the roads, and basically the crime, vehicles stolen. I'm also one of the victims where 3 years ago they stole my Chevy Silverado right from my driveway, right at 12 o'clock noon. I was at my VA appointment. I got home 10 minutes after 12, but my neighbor across the street had video cameras showing the exact time that they took it. If I'd have got there 10 minutes earlier, I might have caught him in doing it, But vehicle theft and...
What happened to your vehicle?
Well, they stole it from my driveway. 2 years later, they tried to register, but the insurance paid it off. We had full coverage on it, and but it was still.
Did they find it though?
Well, yeah, I guess like I said, a year and a half later, the police called to say, "Hey, are you still the owner of the?" No, I said the insurance paid it off. So then that was the last of the conversation there. So it was. I guess they tried to register the truck, and when they did, that's when they realized that it was stolen.
A Silverado, Chevy Silverado. Big truck.
2006.
They couldn't find the police could not find it for a year and a half.
Right. And another thing too is you don't see any policing in the West Side. It's like if you call for an incident, the response time is so long to get there to, and if they stole some of my large signs, and I made a report. You have to do it online, and they don't talk to you. It's all automated. They won't, and yeah, that's.
Oh, your yard signs were stolen?
Well, it was one of my 4 feet by 4 feet sign.
Ooh,
that was, and
where was that? Where was that located?
That one was located on Coors and Sage, and that was actually on my cousin's private property, and it was still taken. And then there was another one where I had before, and that was taken off of Adenau Road and Unser. And like I said, I had signs there 8 years ago.
What do you think is the problem of the crime? Why is there crime in our community?
Well, I think it also boils down to mental illness. It's mental illness and not the resources to I think like now we have this big thing with the young people getting guns and all that. We need to have after school programs, things where they can be, to stop them to get before they go into crime areas. And another thing I think an issue with, as far as I'm concerned, is the leadership. We had this DWI scandal that has gone on for years and years, and to me...
And that's what the police...
Right.
The police... explain this little scandal.
Okay.
People who had DWIs had them waived because...
Their police officers were getting paid to miss court dates so that they could get off. Yeah. They had 2 lawyers who were basically saying, hey, if you pay this, we'll get you off or whatever.
Because they didn't show up.
And to me, that is a leadership issue. Like me being in the Navy with 26 years, if the ship ran aground here, the CEO might have been in his cabin, and the officer of the deck was in the con on the ship at the time. That CEO, the XO, the command master, the senior chief that was in charge, they would have been fired the next day, and they would have new replacement because they're responsible for the training and everything that happens on that ship. Here with this major DWI scandal, I would say we need new leadership.
When you speak of leadership, what positions are you speaking about, Chris Sedillo?
Well, I would say basically the chief of police is the top. He's overall responsible for everything that happens in his department. And I have talking to several officers because they go to my neighborhood association meeting, which I was the vice president until recently. And I asked him, I said, what do you think of the position for chief of police? He said, his agreement or his statement was, yes, we would need a new chief of police. And I asked him, my next question was, should it be hired from within the ranks or from outside the ranks? And his thing is, it should be someone from outside the ranks, even probably outside of the state, because you want someone that has got a great record but doesn't have these connections with people already, because there's that favoritism, and you don't want that. You want someone who's professional, done, proven in a different state maybe, that will come, and then he will be able to see from new eyes, not looking at any favoritism or people that he owes, and that way he can make. That's one thing the Navy does really well. Every 3 years, someone gets relocated from sea duty, shore duty, to overseas duty. And if you get a person that is your boss, and you know that 1 or 2 years he's going to leave or you're going to leave, and
then
you deal with it, right? You deal with that. But then, and then you might get a boss you love and you hate to leave. But that's the way. That's the other side of the coin, of course.
What's your position on the sanctuary city status for Albuquerque? Kind of how do you define it, and would you vote for ending sanctuary city rights for illegal people who commit crimes?
Okay, two-part question there. One, I support immigrants living here. I think most of them are good. They do a lot of work. They do a lot for our economy, and the majority of them are good. I don't think determining where you were born or should decide. I don't think anyone's an immigrant. Now, if they commit a crime, I support they should be tried to the fullest extent of the law, and stop that revolving door policy. Anyone, I don't care if they're immigrant or not, if they did a crime that was a vicious crime or one that injured property or people, they should not, in my book, they should not be released until a court. Okay. If they did anything with sexual violence or homicide, anything that is dangerous to the public, they should not be released, period.
There's been discussion with the City Council regarding rent control, rent freezes, and short-term rentals as businesses make it difficult. What's your position on freezing rent for property owners who own rental property?
That issue is, I would say, I don't want to put stipend on rent control because we want people to come and build more here. I believe if we have start building more and different division or what is it I'm saying? All different type of infrastructure, buildings,
right.
Condos, and
that might stifle it.
That by increasing our building, I think that rent control will take care of itself. It's about economics,
You're talking about also economic development on the west side, not many businesses there.
Right.
What about tax incentives and things for new business locating?
I would support that to increase tax incentives and to get businesses to build there.
What about raising the minimum wage further?
The minimum wage, I would agree to raise it somewhat. I think we need, people need to have a living wage, to a certain extent. I mean.
Okay. What about the state fairgrounds? There's discussion. It's a state issue, but it's in the city of Albuquerque. Moving that out and building homeless shelters.
Totally against it. I think the state fair should stay where it's at, and I would never support any inkling to move it anywhere but leaving it there.
Why is that, Chris Sedillo?
Because it's a memory. I've been there for many years, and it's a staple in my life, and to move it now would be, to me, a waste of money.
Why do you think there's a talk about moving it? I mean, you hear different rumors of people getting...
Well, it came down from the governor, whose idea to do it, and I don't agree with her this time. I agree with her 90%, but today, on that issue, I do not agree with her. Even though she appointed me to be part of her Governor Veterans Advisory Council. We do disagree on that one.
What else would you like to share about yourself and about the positions you have? We just have a couple of minutes left in this half hour, Chris Sedillo.
Well, we talked about safety, and I want to bring an issue that's personal to me, and it's the free ride for the transit, where that is an issue that I think needs to be addressed, where if they're going to keep free ride for anyone, they need to put security on every bus, because I don't think a lot of people feel safe. And personally, it affects me because my partner is a city bus driver, and he has to not be the bus driver. He has to be the security on the bus and follow and enforce their rules of not bringing
very dangerous,
big stuff
very dangerous
inside the
buses,
bus.
yeah.
And it's dangerous. We had one bus driver who had an incident, and it's just, to me, they need to take care of that. They want free fare. They need to make it where they have security on every bus. To me, that's important.
Anything else you'd like to share?
The shortage of bus drivers, I would fight to have an increase, $22 an hour, and having to have a CDL. I know if you have a CDL, I can go make a lot more money than $22 with a commercial driver license. And they don't have to put up with people every day like they do. So, yeah, I would fight to get an increase for transit, and anyone that has a CDL in the city, they need, they got too much, I would say, what's the word?
Too much liberty.
Too much management above. They need more.
And where can we find your website, Chris Sedillo?
It is at votechrisedillo.com. My email is votechrisedillo@gmail.com. My campaign number is 505-677-1913.
There's a way to reach you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your time and the commitment you've had to our nation and to our city. We appreciate that.
Well, I greatly appreciate you having me here. Thank you so much.
That's Chris Sedillo. Running for District 3 in the Albuquerque City Council race, November 4th is the final time to vote. You can vote prior to that. I'm Diane. Thanks for watching the show. Make it a great week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. To comment on today's program, email us at info@kchftv.org or call us at 505-345-1991. Join us again for Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater.